Here we go. Ooh, Stacy's camera's roof. You're fine. At least we could see you.
Right.
Yeah. Did you join TikTok?
I thought so.
Hey, Ken. So welcome in. Hey, PC. Sorry that I wasn't talking during that. Hey.
Our dogs are having a
Boat
blast.
snack over there. Yeah, kind of lost my thought for a second there.
Beam me up, Scotty.
You are beamed up. You're already in the...
No.
Oh,
TikTok.
Oh, gotcha.
I gotcha.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, PC, how are you? There we go.
All right. So, why am I getting a glare? Do you see this glare that's coming? Where does that come from?
That's coming from that. I think
it's my light. I think it's
it
this.
might be the light. Yeah.
Hold on.
Should have powdered my head. Too shiny.
Yep, that's what it was.
Found it.
Oh, she has like a million lights.
I do. I have a whole entire studio over here. All right. Are we ready to kick this off?
Yeah, let's kick it off.
Are you guys ready up there in the land?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Fantastic. All right, welcome in, everybody on TikTok, everybody on Twitch. We appreciate you coming in on this Friday night of our normal broadcast time, usually 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties, and one of the things we were working on was some audio rerouting. But with that, we have been able to do it where now I don't have to be wirelessly mic'd up at the same time as holding my standard studio microphone. So Jedi and I are in the same location in my studio in my house, and we're broadcasting through dual system that goes out via one mixer to these microphones, and then out to another mixer digitally, and then into TikTok and to Twitch at the same time. So we only have to talk on one source. And we have our other wonderful hosts coming in remotely, obviously, as we always do. We have that trans trucker, aka Stacy, our favorite. Up there in Minnesota. Hey, behave with
Wisconsin.
the fucking table. Wisconsin. She's bouncing the damn table and my QC is on it. And then we've got Phoebe down in the lower right-hand corner. Fantastic as always. I don't know where Phoebe lives because I've never asked.
I'm in the DMV.
The DMV?
She lives in the Department of Motor Vehicles.
I do.
How convenient.
That's why there's lines everywhere for everything.
Fair Valley. Starzy. Is that star? Is that? Oh, it's stars. Yeah, Starzy with or an I with an or exclamation point. It's nice to see you. Welcome in everybody to TikTok and welcome in everybody on Twitch. This is our podcast that we do weekly. I am one of the primary hosts, production, technological coordinator, guru of that nature. My name's Allison. You see me on panels all the time. Tonight we are going to be kicking off our show as we do every week, usually an hour and a half long. We are on all your standard platforms. We are on Spotify, we are on Apple Podcasts, and we also publish to YouTube podcasts. So if you don't kick the live and you don't catch it in time, feel free to go out to any one of those platforms, hit the follow button, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you like the content you like to hear, it'll automatically queue into your playlist, and you can listen to our episodes as they get published. We do also publish those within the first 24 to 48 hours after our live broadcast, so please be patient while we do so. And we do thank you for all your support and all your time that you guys come in and listen to us talk and talk about the topics that are facing our society and our nation. Once again, I'm Allison, a trans woman, content creator, producer, staunch advocate, heavy debater. I'll turn it over to the rest of the hosts for their introductions. One of the co-hosts is with me right now in the studio, and that is Jedi. So we'll go from left, and then I'll go up and around. Over to you.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jedi. You all know me on this app. I'm the intersex trans man that is usually highlighted on Titans Live, on Allie's, on Stacy's Live, and my own live. I hope everybody will enjoy our topic today. I think it's going to be informative, and it's going to be something that really needs to be talked about, especially here in the United States and, in the UK, where they're starting to get the same movements that happened here in the United States. So I hope you enjoy. I'll pass it on to Phoebe.
Hello again. I'm Phoebe. I'm everybody's mom when they need one.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this topic because especially when it comes to like things happening in the community or medical stuff, really easy to get misinformation. And so it's important we know how to identify that.
Stacy.
Hey guys, I'm Stacy. I'm another one of the trans women here on panel. Yeah, I have to agree with PB. This is one of the topics that I think we could all probably do blindfolded. Holy shit. I found the echo, by the way, everybody. It might have been my tablet.
No, I think mute on TikTok, right? Because it's feeding in through Allie. I think
No,
that's the
not
thing.
even
Oh,
mute. Just turn your volume down on TikTok.
I did.
No, volume's down on TikTok.
Mine's off.
Oh.
Wait,
Yeah,
you can hear me now.
Yeah, you
'cause
guys.
I'm going through the one.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So Stacey and PB can both mute and volume down, and the whole entire thing of the audio from the Twitch is routed
Being broadcasted right over to
to my channel, including my microphone and you guys talking automatically. Every time you talk, it's
Oh.
coming through. I did this today.
No more
well,
pressing
okay.
buttons on all the things.
No more needing this piece of junk then.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
See, you guys, we all learn as we go. But yeah, I'm Stacy. I'm another one of the trans women here on the panel. And like Phoebe said, this is one of those that we deal with quite regularly. Allie knows this. Jedi knows this. We deal with this every day we're on anybody's live. So yeah, let's kick this off.
Sounds good.
So I think to get started, one of the things that we need to point out is not a technical definition. For all of you that are listening, the thing that you would, yes, record is working. I appreciate that somebody just wrote this in the Twitch. Yes, I had press record. Big shouts out to that because I did screw that up the last time. So big W. But I think we need to have a good clear, right? Exactly, Stacey. I think we need to know what these mean, and I want to disclose something before we get started. And one of those is going to be that this meaning of these words is not a objective definition of each one, right? Like they have contextual relatability to specific conversations. In each conversation, right? Like we can't just apply a uniform definition to all instances of these three words. And those of you on Twitch are going to see this. It's propaganda, misinformation, and disinformation. And I'm going to clear those up for everybody so that way that we have in tonight's episode, you understand where all four of us are coming from and what general meaning we are applying, right? The biggest thing is I do not want people listening to this later and being like, oh, that was very disingenuous or that was because you need to be based in the definition. The one thing we will not commit on this podcast is an etymological fallacy, meaning that the original definition that existed is now the extended definition that applies to every conversation moving forward throughout time. We will not do that. I do not stand for that. And I hate people who rely on definitions as a predicate. But let's get to it. So our episode 7, propaganda, misinformation, and disinformation. What is propaganda? Propaganda is a set of materials, media, information that's spread out through a journalistic and editorial approach, usually used to manipulate a subset of people to believing things based on either factual truth or object fact or subjective truth. You can have propaganda go either way. These can come in many different formats of media. You can see them on social media. You can see them in news media. You can see them in newspapers, magazines, etc., etc. You can see them in all kinds of different perspectives of propaganda. You can have political propaganda. You can have medical propaganda. You can have automotive propaganda. And you all know the propaganda of politics and medicine and things like that. And automotive and like there's propaganda all through it. Think of propaganda like advertising, right? That's essentially what it kind of boils into. It's an advanced form of marketing that's used to drive a group of people to make decisions without actually researching the information. It's very manipulative in its language. it can be counterintuitive and counterfactual. There's a lot of different aspects of propaganda that can be damaging and dangerous, but there are also pieces of propaganda that can be very, very factual and supporting. It's just clear that you take away from this podcast tonight when we go through this is do your research. Don't just believe everything you hear from any of these aspects of propaganda, misinformation, and disinformation. Do your own research. Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, what's an example of medical propaganda? I said, I would like to talk to you about your Medicare. Do you have your Medicaid Part 1, Part 2, and A and B? Do you qualify for your benefits? That's propaganda. That's a literal example of propaganda. What's misinformation? Misinformation is often partial, cherry-picked pieces of context that are delivered to the public with a main goal that manipulates them in a way that misrepresents the actual facts. Could partially contain factual information to its relevance, like the topic or the product or whatever it is, but something has been changed just enough that it's misrepresenting what's actually being asked for or delivered, and that's misinformation. Going down the line of providing something that's factually correct to the public right away, but changing some of the details so that misleads whoever's listening or reading or watching to make wrong judgments about what that information is. Disinformation, while sounds the same, is based on everything that I was able to read and research. Disinformation, and I'm just going to be very blanche about this, and I know that a lot of people don't like that. If you've listened to my Not So Palatable podcast, you'll understand why I'm going to say this. I'm going to be very frank and very crass about it. Disinformation is just fucking lies. Like, I'm going to say it. I'm going to be non-PC about it. Anybody who wants to talk about disinformation is just a fucking liar. If you don't like what I just said, that means that you need to do some self-reflection. If you spread disinformation, you're a fucking liar. You're disingenuous and you bring no valid merit to any conversation you're talking about, and you can't be trusted. I hate people who use disinformation to subjugate and substantiate their arguments. Those are the most intellectually inept people that I've ever encountered, and more importantly, they are the most weak-willed and willfully ignorant, and I don't tolerate that. And like, I hate disinformation more than I hate misinformation and propaganda. The first two, I can deal with those.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. I'm gonna let you guys chime in. I need to take a drink of water because disinformation gets my blood boiling.
Yeah, ladies, go ahead.
Well, like, so when the panorama was happening, face masks, right? So much misinformation around that, and people not understanding that the ones that most people have access to were not meant to be used how people are using them. Like, they're not meant for you to keep it for a week, wear it everywhere. You go in the bathroom, then you touch it. It was constantly like, people don't realize, and I'm after that, people still don't realize how much you touch your face.
Yeah.
Like, you're not meant to touch the mask, and
You
then
mean they're
the
not
constant
supposed to be
using
chin
it.
bumpers?
Yeah, right. So and people are like, well, they don't work at all, but not understanding like it's two barriers. One, like, you're not breathing germs to places, and then you're not breathing them in because there's like that barrier. And people would get very frustrated when you would be like, well, but doctors wear them. And what do you think the purpose of that is? And they're like, they probably just don't want to maybe like sweat or something. And just like trying to explain to people like the science behind that. And even like all the information that was out as we were learning about the condition and trying to prevent it, and just trying to explain like catching the droplets was the big deal, because like viruses don't just they're just not out there on their own. Like, if you're inhaling or exhaling, like they're in the droplets. So hence why like we tell people, like, when you cough or sneeze, to like, don't do it in your hands. Like, maybe an elbow or like a shirt, even then, that's still not great.
So hold on a second. You mean to tell me all this time viruses don't just float in the air and I just can't catch them like willy-nilly, like fireflies? I've been lied to this whole entire time.
I mean, just like,
Yeah.
I mean, the mask is great, but then, your kid sneezes in your eyeball.
That's gross.
And then, that's a
Seen that
mucus
happen.
membrane, and you're going to catch it that way.
I'll never forget walking through it. Sorry, Stacey, I don't mean to cut you off on that, but she just
you're
said something
good.
that was really good about that. And it's funny because I think we talked a little bit about this on the Not So Palatable. I watched a kid walk in and right around the panini, and like obviously we're all masked up and doing those things. I watched a kid sneeze so hard it blew his mother's face mask off. It went up her nose and everything, and I was like, "Well, there's that."
Kids are
Yeah.
There's a reason I don't eat freaking buffets. Like, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Ugh.
I love buffets. Maybe I'm a risky person.
Okay, to be fair, when I go to a buffet, though, it's usually a Korean barbecue place. So, like, it's like all the vegetables, which I'm going to be throwing on the grill and going to cook the germs off. So,
I mean, I think that's
Valid.
I mean, I eat
Valid,
Golden
okay.
Corral all the time.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you like food with no flavor. Got it.
No, I'm very specific what I eat there. So, and I add a ton of
It's
salt
all
and pepper.
food with no flavor.
Well, yeah, it's made for cotton tops. That's
You guys are getting some marketing, bestie producer over there. Your chairs are making waves across Twitch.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, these chairs are amazing. You can get them on Amazon.
But I mean, I think, from a medical perspective, that's a really good point, Phoebe. Like, there's a whole lot of examples of propaganda and misinformation kind of overlapping. And somebody did ask in Twitch about the differences between it. And you're correct, what I just gave you in the aspect of the difference between misinformation and disinformation, right? But I want you to understand propaganda can lead to misinformational sources. Mm-hmm. People can read propaganda and misinterpret the information that's being delivered. And then, best analogy. I got one from our childhood. You guys can all relate to this. And maybe you guys in the audience probably can't. Does anybody remember the telephone game?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So, for those
You
of
mean
you...
the Bible?
Oh, the Bible, yes.
Oh shit!
So to give you all that don't know what that is and understanding what the telephone game is, and I'm going to let Stacey talk in a second because I feel so bad that I'm cutting her off. But
I'm going somewhere here, folks.
The telephone game is like you tell one person one particular sentence and then you pass it all down the line, and by the time it comes back to you, you find out if it's actually the same thing. Propaganda can lead to misinformation via the same concept of telephone game principle. What you perceive and what you read in the propaganda, then you spread it out, and by the time it gets to the 8th or the 10th person, it's now misinformation. It still carries the same value of the concept,
Right.
but the details have shifted, and that's the problem. There's misinformation now still to this day, even in the things that you see. Like when you I know that. Stacey, go ahead. I'm going to let you talk a little bit, and then I need to talk about this part of misinformation and disinformation because there's a real effect here.
Well, I mean, if we're going off propaganda, the biggest propaganda machine that we see it in front of our faces every day, just walking down the street.
Yep.
That's going to be your military.
Yep.
Literally. I mean, how many times you look around, you see billboard, we want you, or we need you, U.S. Air Force, Army, Navy, Marines, Space Force, whoever.
Or great pay.
I mean, yeah,
Space Force.
great pay my ass.
Yeah, we know that's not. Great
I'm sorry,
pay.
Space Force is still Air Force to me. It's not its own separate branch.
It is.
Like, no. Like, you have to, to be Space Force, for the most part, you have to be in a specialized field. You have to come through the Air Force to get to it.
Yep.
You don't just go straight into it. It's still Air Force. Sorry. But with that being said, that is one of our biggest propagandas here in the country. Like, literally, I can walk 2 blocks down and see that right there on a billboard. Another one is medical. Like you see medical on billboards all the time. Have you? Allison stated this earlier with the Medicare, but you also have Medicaid and private insurance companies as well that throw different things up to try to drag your attention to that billboard. I mean, to be fair, billboards are number one key propaganda material,
Mhm.
whether you want to realize it or not.
Yeah, I think that propaganda and misinformation for me hold a different weight, right?
Mm.
For me, misinformation can be accidental. It could be something you heard, right? But for me, propaganda is an outright lie. It's explicitly meant to deceive you. Right? So what they do, so take MAGA for instance, right? What did Trump run on this entire time? Right? What was the number one thing he ran on?
$2.6 million worth of anti-trans legislation,
Right.
or anti-trans materials.
And what did he tell everybody that kids were doing when they went to school? That they were
Mutilation.
getting surgeries, which we all know that's not true. People in the medical field know that's not true, but his base doesn't know that's true because they believe that garbage, right? So, and that's what I mean by it holds a different weight for me. I deal with people regularly on Titans Live that spout misinformation, but it's because they're not educated on the topic. They don't know. But when you could tell the difference, like when the GCs come in and they specifically propagandize the conversation because they don't have facts, they have feelings. So that for me is where it holds a different weight. And then I'll pass it on for now, but when we come back to me, I'm going to talk about the misinformation and the propaganda on intersex people.
I need to figure out how to do a gift goal again. Live gifts.
Yeah, so you go to the top one.
Oh,
Tap-
yeah, right here.
tap
I
the
see it.
button.
Yeah,
Hand
and
you
hurt.
then-
tap it and
yeah.
then
Set goal.
yep, and then
And then
set.
confirm.
Yep, there you go.
Boom.
I mean, Anodian's gonna crush it in like 2
He always
seconds. So it
does.
doesn't
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I know Jedi is going to go into the intersex individuals and really.
I told you. You have to set it at like 100.
Set it to 999 and just leave it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I've only been sitting literally for 7 seconds. I watched
Mama
the
Megan.
timer. It came up and said
Yeah.
completed in 7 seconds.
You have to set it to
Yeah.
999.
You set it to 999 and leave it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see them work.
Let's try this again here. Okay.
Anodian, that's $10.
Do the hearts.
Be
Do
prepared
you
for
want to
it.
do the hearts or the heart signals? The
Yeah,
hand
do
hearts?
that.
What about the heart puffs?
Yeah, that'll work.
Heart puffs.
Do
Heart
the heart
puffs.
puffs and just set it to 999. Right? And down there where it says edit. Yep. No, right there. Yep. Little pencil. Yep.
999.
999. There you go.
And if nobody
confirm.
gets the 999 joke, I'm sorry. You're too young to be here.
Haha, there we go. So, that was good. I don't know these things. And we are working on I know these things, like I could build a whole entire studio and record things in fantastic quality and stream in fantastic quality, but this whole live and gift, seriously, Anodian, I love you, but like,
Just
look at
watch
it, it's
the
just
number
going.
keep going.
It's just going. Anywho, I love you, E, so much. Thank you so much for all of the support you've shown, and everybody else who's gifting. We do appreciate it. We are going to work to do the same thing using something like Twitchify, and there's some other different ones out there that let you do the same kind of gifting on Twitch. But for now, this will work. My piece of propaganda that is disheartening that affects me, and it may not affect everybody. I get it. It's okay that some of you may be not 2A supporters or staunch gun owners, and I know that TT and that doesn't like when we use certain words and things like that. But here's the thing. I am unequivocally and unapologetically going to talk about topics, and I'm going to use the correct words, whether you like it or not. These are important topics that need to have conversations about. I am a gun owner, period. You can say pew pew, you can say this, you can say that, but I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. I'm sorry. But I believe in my right to own. I am legally and viably, certifiably able to do so.
Yep.
I have passed federal checks. I have passed the psychological assessments in law enforcement in a way prior part of my lifetime. I'm more than culpable, more than capable of handling it, especially with safety and presentation and care and all of those different things. But there's propaganda that goes behind that too that's very destructive to anybody, not just our community, where they're trying to say that we cannot be owners of pews and that perspective. And that is really, really frustrating to me. And that's just bad propaganda. They can tell you all of the bad things, but tell you none of the good things. And Nodian put that in the comments on Twitch, or somebody did. And I think that that's very important too. Like the 5 bad things that are associated, but never about the thousands of good things that can associate to it. Then it becomes misinformation, and then it gets misconstrued completely, and then it's just a bunch of fucking bullshit and lies that media and news outlets will make advertisements and push commercials. That's what's even more disheartening.
Yeah.
They'll make commercials that substantiate this, that it's just blatant fucking lies. Like, come on, where's the accountability and culpability of the media class? We should be holding them accountable just as much as we do in our own community.
Right.
But that's some of the things in propaganda, misinformation, and disinformation that are kind of hard to me right now. I'm glad that I live in a state that backs me and supports me and loves me for who I am, and they know that my rights are just as valid as everybody else, including my neighbors. Jonah, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. So, me personally, I want to talk about the misinformation as it relates to me, right? Because in every podcast, whether it's this one or the one I do with Ali, I try to relate it to me, right? So for me, being an intersex human being, the propaganda related to intersex people is largely based on misinformation with a little bit of propaganda, right? So I'm going to start out with just a couple of them. This might be a little long-winded, but I apologize. I'll try to shorten it as best I can. Myths about sex and binary, right? The false claim that all people are born strictly male or female, and that sex is always binary. The narrative ignores biological reality and motives. The normalization of intersex bodies through unnecessary medical procedures, right? I've had several of those as a child, right? The myth that we're very rare. It's not true. It's propaganda. Often downplays the prevalence of intersex traits throughout experts estimating that approximately 1.7% of the population in the world is born intersex, which means that's more prevalent than people with red hair, right? Myth about intersex conditions that needs corrections. We don't need corrections. Just leave us be. If you have a child that is born intersex, leave it be. What I do?
Not you.
Not you.
The goal.
Did I not
God
say
damn
that
it,
it would take
Onion.
$9.99 and it wouldn't be achieved? Because that's what you told me put in there.
Put it back up.
3 minutes and 18 seconds. 3 minutes and 18 seconds.
Put up 10 universes. Put up 10 galaxies and let's see how that
Uni-
goes.
So,
Put
okay,
up 10
hold on.
galaxies. Let's see how that goes.
We love you all for all the support and all the gifts you give. I want to say that clearly right now. Okay?
All right.
But this is what's funny. I have what do you call it? I have members and subscribers and
Sam.
like a fan club and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if it's been working or not. It maybe I don't know. I tried putting it together and it doesn't seem to work the right way. Oh yeah, it does. So he's got boss because that's my label, right?
Yeah.
And Nodian is level 24. Do you know who the closest to it is?
Who?
Bestie at 6.
Oh my goodness.
And that's not a slam against
Go.
Bestie. I don't want that to come across that way, because Bestie does a great amount of things and shows love and support in every way that she does all the time. But you've not let anybody come into the whole entire panel. You're at level 24. You're way up here. You set this bar up here. Nobody's
Yeah.
going to be able. The closest one to you is 6.
Right. We'll set a new one and do galaxies and see how
okay.
that goes.
We'll
Nice.
see. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's just wild. Anyway.
Yeah. So
Continue.
to kind of wrap up, right? So I think the biggest propaganda, right, is like I said, that SMEX is binary, and it is not, right? So it talks about, the harmful narrative of secrecy and shame, that a historical and ongoing veil of secrecy around intersex conditions, where parents are sometimes advised by doctors to withhold information from their children, like myself, about their intersex status or past surgeries. This practice fosters shame and makes it harder for the individuals to seek appropriate health care later in life. For myself, I could say that it caused trauma because I didn't understand what was going on with my body as a child. I mean, no child should be as hairy as I was. I mean, it was wild. Like, and they were pumping me with estrogen like crazy, and it still wasn't working. Like, all this gloriousness, that's all natural, right? I just recently went on T because my T levels dropped like every other dude in their 40s. So when I tell you that, and you guys see me on the panels, and I try to tell people all the time that, I try to tell people all the time that although typically, right, and I use that very easily, typically it's male and female, we still have people, like I said, 1.7% of the population, and that's only because we don't do karyotyping. I believe it would be much higher, and so do doctors and scientists believe that it would be much higher if we actually karyotype children. So, the propaganda is that, the Mussolini in charge in the United States says there's only two, and that's just not right. It's not correct. It's not biologically correct, right? Which is why we have 22 states that actually have intersex as a third sex on their birth certificate. And me and Allie talk about this all the time. If we can't start being honest as human beings and as a community about real things in this life, then we're kind of doomed as humanity, right? We're just going to pick each other apart and destroy what occurs naturally in nature. I don't know what everybody's thoughts are on that. Anybody?
Oh, you guys know I could talk for hours.
Right.
Yeah, we know.
I know it's to try to think of how to contribute and not like make a completely giant
Total ass
segment.
of myself.
I mean, literally, I could literally talk for hours.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are contemplating how best to articulate it, and I love that, right? Inodian in there. My thoughts
What?
are.
Two.
His thoughts are money gun.
Yeah.
No, nobody's taking their clothes off, Nerdian. Sorry.
I mean, it's a little hot in here.
It is hot take news. I mean, I guess that kind of applies to the.
Yeah.
Okay, I
I can
found
show
my
a little
thoughts.
leg, but
Oh.
that's about it.
We've got it. Phoebe's got one. Let's see.
I found my thoughts. So just like going to like the misinformation propaganda about the medical stuff, how often do we hear people come and be like, well, children don't need hormones, but then they don't even know what hormones are, right? They only think it's estrogen and testosterone. They don't realize that's your thyroid. They don't realize that's insulin for diabetes. But they're like so set in their head, and then they're so set that thinking that whatever dosage an adult gets, obviously that's what a child's going to get, without realizing, like, dependent on the need and the condition, that things are tailored for each individual person.
Right.
And that follow-ups are required to make sure everything's going okay. And you don't need to tailor it more, because we don't want undesired side effects.
You know, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's a very, very important thing to think about. And I never thought about that until you brought that up. Is like, we get in these discussions and these panels, and they immediately are abject for children to go on puberty blockers or any kind of medical intervention. And that now helps me in another argument too. What are you going to tell doctors that they're not allowed to give prescribed doses based on the child's age, weight, height, all of these different metabolic factors to help diabetes, cancer, thyroid conditions, bone development, calcium deficiency, all of the different things that apply. Hell, you can even say that to adults, right? Because Phoebe, as comparison, if you and I went to the doctor and had a metabolic CBC and an evaluation of our blood for our immunocytochemistry and understanding your estrogen levels versus my estrogen levels, I don't think the doctor's going to give you the same dosage as they give me, or vice versa. And that's misinformation. Well, that's misinformation, bad propaganda in a couple different ways. Because then if it was coming out from a manufacturer, then that would be the propaganda side. But that's the misinformation from the majority of not understanding, like you said, a lack of education. But then it becomes disinformation because then people just spew it as bullshit and lies. And they just like want to make it their own rhetoric, which is stupid.
Right. Like when we sit here and we start talking about the whole medical route, we have to understand that we don't have just one path. Each and every person's path is going to be different. You have a million paths to get to the same result. You might have one person that goes path A, other person going path Z. Eventually, both paths are going to finish at the same point. Now, does that mean they took the exact same route? Absolutely not. But does that mean they had the same end goal in mind? Yes. And what we have to understand with that, and I think Ali kind of knows right where I'm headed with this, is that just because medical says you have to do X, Y, Z, that's not always necessarily the case. Like, to me, and I preach WPATH, I respect the WPATH. At the same time, WPATH is not a one-size-fits-all, especially whenever it comes to the trans community. You have to look at each individual person differently. And I've said that to a doctor one time, and they're like, well, that we have to follow this guy. I'm like, no. You need to follow that guideline for a child. When you come to an adult, everybody's body is different. Everybody's going to, lack of better terms here, digest things a lot differently than the other person. And Jedi, I saw you back there wanting to chime in.
Yeah, I mean, so I've talked on many times that I'm privileged, right, to be who and what I am, right? Because my struggle wasn't as hard as everybody else's that's a trans man, right? This grew naturally. I didn't have to wait for HRT or figure out how to grow a beard. I just did, right? When it came to surgery, right, even though I was over the age of 18, right, and mind you, I got chest surgery, I don't know, 2021, 2020, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I did it, I had to have a PhD sign off on it, right, a counselor sign off on it, and then my insurance had to sign off on it, right? And there were things in the insurance that they wouldn't let do. But because I am an intersex person, right, my dysphoria was a little different than what a trans person would be, right? Their dysphoria would be completely different than what mine is. Mine was that the person who I am was not reflected, right? I didn't have breast tissue. I had gynecomastia, technically, right? When they did, I still had to go for a mammogram, right? Because anytime that you have top surgery, right? You have to, the dog just got whacked. Anytime that you have top surgery, you have to go get the mammogram, right? No matter who you are, because they want to make sure you don't have cancer cells. They want to make sure what they're taking off, right? They need a roadmap to what's going on. It's the same for any surgery, right? So I'm sure when Allie went to have their surgeries, right, they had to do certain things to make sure that the things that they were getting done were safe and they had a roadmap to them. Same thing with me. So when they took mine off, I had zero breast tissue. It was just muscle and skin, basically, right? And the scars are bigger because obviously it wasn't breast tissue, it was skin, literally skin. And I've shown Corey and all of them the pre-pictures, and they were just skin. But even for me, it's different, right? It was easier for a PhD to sign off on me. I only had to do one meeting, right? One meeting with the PhD and one meeting with the counselor, right? For people with being born, female, male, whatever they're born, right? People transitioning have to go through a long, lengthy process. Mine was less than a month, right? They had to go through a very long process. I don't know what it's like to be a true transgender person, right? Even though I'm intersex and trans, it's only because I was assigned female at birth, right? And because I've gotten karyotyped and identified as XXY with congenital adrenal hyperplasia as well, that I know who I am, right? But for someone who's a cis woman transitioning from female to male, they have to go through a very lengthy process to be able to do what I've done. So I'm very privileged in that. And I make that known, right? That one, I have the male privilege. Two, I have intersex privilege because it was way easier. My hormones were already there. I didn't have to take anything until just recently, about 12 weeks ago. And so the propaganda and misinformation about how the whole process works is really bad. And I wish more people would read WPATH, as imperfect as it is, right? And as not suiting to everybody that it is. It's a great starter and it's a good guideline, right? Because it keeps children from getting surgeries, except in very, very, very rare cases where they have to get, breast reduction because of their back and health and for unalivement purposes, right? But the misinformation that goes on about what happens when people transition is wild to me, because it could be something simple as just getting a haircut, changing your clothes. That's considered transition. That's socially transitioning. And that is literally the very first step. You have to do that before you can even attempt to go down the steps of WPATH. So, are you all right? Why are you fanning yourself?
Do you have like a
I'm
swarm
going through a
of
hot
bees?
flash.
Oh,
Hot flash. I'm sorry.
There's like a swarm of bees. You got wasps,
Right?
hornets,
Right.
gnats,
You still
She
have
was-
the effects of seeing my leg. You good?
flying squirrels.
She was swatting away the money from the money gun.
Yeah.
Here you
That
go.
part.
Here you go.
Damn it.
Don't get too excited in my house.
Like,
shoes.
okay, like it's like 30 degrees outside right now, and that air rushing into this house freaking feels amazing to me. So bite me.
So, somebody I know we're a little, hey, Kylie, it's good to see you. Welcome in, everybody, off of TikTok. I noticed that we just went from like 14, 15 up to 20, 22, 24, 25 people. So welcome in. If you haven't had a chance to see what we're here, this is our Hot Take News Show podcast. We run it every Friday, roughly 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and then according into your different time zones. Tonight's topic is propaganda, misinformation, and disinformation. So we're kind of having a nice deep critical thinking conversation and discussion about the different aspects of how it is in our society and how we encounter it. What's our lived experience from like what PB has talked about to what Stacy said with their experience, how Jedi's experienced it, and then his lived experience in daily life and how I've talked about it. And somebody did bring up something from the trans cis side of things. So
Laz said something too, and I missed it.
yeah, somebody asked a question, is it typical for cis people to often have a feeling of they should have been born male if you were cis female, for example, based on the question I scrolled by. Let's be very clear here. Every one of us on this panel, including the people that are in this community, understand that gender dysphoria does not just apply to trans folks. Okay? So if you're having these moments of incongruence between your sex and your gender, or being born the wrong sex, it's a completely natural feeling in your brain. And to have that kind of feeling, it doesn't make you a freak. It doesn't make you a piece of shit. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you an inherent danger to those around you at all, okay? Not at all. Acts of incongruity within your gender and gender dysphoria are valid on all levels. My gender dysphoria is not higher rated than Jedi's. It's not higher rated than Phoebe's. It's not higher rated than Stacy's.
Screw all of you. Mine's higher than all of yours.
Oh, screw you.
I knew that was.
I'm just kidding.
That's just your testosterone.
Yeah, it is.
We're having a bitch over here having a tea spike. I don't want to hear it.
No, last night I did. I sounded like Smokey Robinson last night. I was like, hey, baby,
Damn, I missed it.
Damn,
I missed that.
Yep, see, exactly.
Turn them lights and the night down low.
Okay.
AJ says, listen, Linda, listen, Linda, listen.
Listen, Linda. So,
S-
Laz asked
Sam
me a
over here
question
on
too.
Hold on. Country, what do you do about
Sam.
it? Oh, that's Sam? Okay.
Yeah.
Country Girl Sam Dog Pack. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say their name. So.
Yeah, Nody, and that was the patriarchy talk.
Sam.
That's the inherent
Oh,
misogyny.
okay. How do you handle that? Okay. I'm going to make this very quick before Laz's question because we're getting into that, and this is what we wanted. We wanted the interaction, and we are coming up on that time where we love having these conversations and people start asking questions. Sam, in those kinds of situations, this is where we talk about insistency, consistency, and persistency, right? Repetitious through time. And if you start noticing this as an adult and you see a pattern that's forming of these thoughts and these questions, that's when you talk to a therapist and you engage in a medical health care professional at the mental level, LMTS, psychologist, or psychiatrist, and start deconstructing things. Get somebody that is LGBTQ friendly. And I definitely advocate for therapists who are family structure friendly as well, right? Somebody who has an understanding of how sociological and psychological constructs exist within familial structures and the support that you may have had when you were a child growing up or right now as an adult, and then understanding your aspects of gender incongruity or congruity that could be there for your time period, how often persistent, insistent, and consistent it is over time. That's what I would do, Sam, if I were you. Welcome in, Lainey. It's
I
good to
would
see you.
add to
Lainey's
that,
here.
too.
Hey, Laney.
Hey, Laney.
Go ahead.
I would add to that too. I would say also make sure that same therapist or PhD, which I would have both because eventually they're going to need both, right? For WPATH to run off on that.
Minimum of 2.
Yep, you have to have a minimum of 2, one counselor, one PhD, right? For now, a counselor would be fine, Sam. And what I would do is make sure that counselor also has really good experience with trauma responses and trauma nuances in transgender people, right? Because it varies across the board, right? For me, so before I hit Laz's question, I had something happen yesterday that hit a trauma that I thought I had long buried, right? I've worked through it with my therapist. I've worked through all of my traumas as a child, and I had quite a bit of them from, emotional and physical abuse from my mother to, being forced to wear girl clothes, right? And I had a GC come up on the panel, and they put up a picture of my homecoming dress, me in my homecoming dress, which I was forced to wear. Okay. And I didn't think it affected me as much as it did, but it did. And it carried out through the whole live to where I was very combative, very quick to be triggered. And that's usually not me. Everybody knows me. I'm a very blunt person, but I'm not quick to trigger, right? And so when that happened, I got very angry because, trauma makes us angry, right? That's our first response as a human being, to be angry about it, right? So I kind of closed myself in my bedroom and I asked my wife to leave me be for a while. I worked through it. I ended up coming over to Allie's house, and it was much needed, right? Just to clear my energy out, right? To be around people that we love and care about, right? Allie's one of my best friends and considered my sister, right? Stacy's one of my best friends. They reached out immediately. They knew what was going on. Phoebe was also, you know, on the same conversation. We don't just talk to each other while we're on here, right? We talk to each other all day long. If you all saw our feed, you would be like, holy crap, shut up.
Right.
Stop talking. Like, we talk
From
from the time we wake
memes
up
and
to
videos.
To the time we go to
bed.
fucking bed.
Right. So,
Like sometimes 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning.
So just to clarify too, okay, and we need to set the record straight here. It's not just in like instant messages that are on the app off of the time that we're not on panel. This is Discord. This is direct messages
Cell
on
phone
Instagram,
calls.
cell phone calls, text messages. Like
right.
the feed is like 7-way faceted. It's wild. Like we
yeah.
never miss anything from anyone.
No.
Never.
And so, you know, after yesterday, I had to kind of reevaluate what I wanted to do as, you know, a content creator on this app. I was very, I almost gave it up. I'll be honest. I almost gave it up yesterday. And I had told Allie this. I almost gave up doing lives. And it's something that I love to my core. I love educating people so much. Laz know this. Me and Laz share so much information. So that leads me into what Laz was talking about. Laz posted a question. Let me see if I could go back and find it. Give me one moment. So Laz asked me basically why intersex people, hold on, are okay with, you know, settling for the 1.7% of the population. I think that's what he had said. Something to that effect, right? Oh, right here. Why has the intersex community decided to stick to the low end estimates of 1.7%? So Laz and I have both read the same study that doctors are now suggesting that we're actually up to like 4 to 7% of the population, right? And I think that's because more people are seeing themselves getting karyotyped and more people are starting to see incongruities. And I think the fact that they're now doing a study at UC Health, Mayo Clinic, and Johns Hopkins, the three of them have teamed up to do a study on transgender individuals because they're starting to find a congruity between the two. And what I mean by that is they're starting to find that a lot of transgender people, I'm not saying all, a lot of transgender people are turning out to be intersex or have some kind of intersex condition. The problem here with just spouting the 4 to 7%, right, is that I have to have the empirical data to back that up, right? Right now, I only have the empirical data to say that we're 1.7%, right? That's proven. A 4 to 8, even though it's somewhat proven, it's still a guesstimate. So I think that's why I guard away from saying it, because I'm a very analytical guy, right? And I don't want to be mistaken when I speak on something or someone give you like a gotcha moment. I want to make sure it's clear that I do believe that children should be karyotyped from birth. That way, we can stop this nonsense of there's only 2 sexes. Because then you have people like me who fall in the middle, and I'm like, well, I don't belong to either side. Right? And I don't want a child to have to go through what I did as a child. Right? As a child, I thought that I was being abused because I was different. Right? And that's horrible to think that way. And I don't want a kid to have to go through that they think that they're treated differently because they're different.
Right, and that goes back to some of the stuff that we've talked about in the past when we talk about normalized medical testing. Not from the stuff that's egregiously inappropriate, not necessary for when a newborn is brought into the world, but bringing in proper tests that would help understand not just a genetic variation and the allosomic respect, because that's some of the key things that we learn in genetic research is allosomic versus autonomic. And for the people that don't understand the difference, the first 22 pairs, which is 44 chromosomes, are responsible for autonomic function and autonomic development, which is like can include, unfortunately, and this is misinformation, disinformation examples too, when people don't understand or think that it's, I hate to say this, I'm going to do it again. It's only XX or XY. Right? When we hear that all the time. And do you know how frustrating that is? It's like, there's only two. It's only XX and XY. Well, then how do you explain the different variations that we understand autonomically? But, okay, let's not even talk about, okay, that's an example of disinformation. Outright, no, you don't.
Puzzle piece.
No.
No. We're all fucking here, damn it.
Yeah, we're all here, TikTok. Calm down.
I'm moving around. But, like, that's one of those examples where I get frustrated because I'm just like, okay, you know for a fact that there's different variations in the autonomic perspective, because if that wasn't the case, we would not see allele structure changes in people who have Alzheimer's, Lewy body dementia, dementia as a whole, Parkinson's disease, right? Down syndrome, Bell's palsy.
Calm down, RFK.
Yeah. There's all these different examples of autonomic variation in the genetic sequence of humans that can show different outcomes. And if you do testing like this, you could provide answers to your parents or the birthing parents of how they can best prepare for this child as it comes in. Then when you get into the allosomic perspective, which is all of your sex, well, not all of your sex, but it's to clear the generator in your chromosomal language that determines Mullerian pathway or Wolffian pathway, the existence of one or the non-existence of one, or the existence of both or the non-existence of both. And that's where we get into the misinformation leads to disinformation, becomes frustrating, and then people just don't understand, right? Like, that's just so nuanced. But you can't, I'm going to say it again, just because the minority exists and it doesn't prove the majority rule, doesn't mean the minority existence needs to be discredited. People lose that fact. They think, oh, just because you exist, I mean, you're one, you don't prove the majority rule, so why should we change shit? That's
right.
That is so dangerous.
Well, and you could flip it on them. If that were the case, YT people are the minority in the United States. Should they not matter anymore?
Very valid point.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made this point earlier. So on Titans Live, shout out to Titan, there was a lady on the panel, a clear GC, and she said that she thought trans women should not be allowed to take HRT because it's unnatural. So what I did is I went and got my vial of tea, and I said, so is this natural or unnatural? And she said, it's unnatural. I said, cool, because it's synthetic, right? And she said, yeah. I said, so if cis women can take HRT for menopause, well, they create estrogen naturally. I said, so do men, right? So do males. Everybody on this planet produces estrogen and testosterone. But if you're putting a synthetic into your body, then it is then unnatural. So why is it okay for one but not the other? And let's not ignore the facts that more cis people get gender affirming care than trans people.
Yeah, well, it's that reductionary bias or exclusionary biased mentality, right? Like, because it's the majority cisgender individuals that are afforded the access to it with no roadblocks or restrictions or guidelines or sign off letters, then it's completely okay. But when you put a roadblock or a restriction in front of it, then, you know, oh, that's just unnatural. No, don't even get into that. Like,
eating GMO food is unnatural.
Right, GMO. Red dye number 40 is fucking unnatural, but y'all are eating it all the same time.
Having fake spring water is unnatural.
Yellow dye number 10 in Mountain Dew. Like, let's be so real, right?
Yeah. What's your thoughts?
Was that the Costco spring water?
No, it's Sam.
What are you thinking, Vince?
No, yeah, that's definitely fucking fake ass spring water.
No, it take me back to the conversation we had once about someone saying we shouldn't eat chemicals. So we gave them the chemical explanation of an apple.
Yep.
Yeah.
They said they didn't know it was an apple. They're like, yeah, those are chemicals. Those are bad.
Or what about it?
It's
What
an
is it?
apple.
What's the mono-oxygen?
Oh, dihydrogen monoxide.
Monoxide.
It's so dangerous.
Have you guys had your
Um,
dihydrogen monoxide today?
I've had a lot of it.
Sam.
Sam, up here on the panel enjoy your questions, hon. We have no problem whatsoever you ever asking questions to
Yeah.
any of us.
Right.
That's why I gave you my Discord weeks ago.
Yeah, this is why we're here, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, there's two facets to why we're here, right? And I'm going to be real with everybody on TikTok and real with everybody on Twitch. Number one, we love being around each other and seeing each other's faces. And sometimes in just this kind of situation when it's not on a TikTok panel and we're being berated by people that don't like us or disagree all the time, these moments are cathartic because it allows us to connect at a level that's outside of the daily arguments, grinds, and bullshit. But at the same time, we love doing these things and being engaged in these types of situations and podcasts because it engages with you for the questions you have. We talk, gosh, we've been talking about this probably a culminative between all three of us or all four of us for at least 4 years now. And it's not to say that we're getting bored of it. We decided to change our medium. That's why we're doing this, is to now involve you because y'all are asking the questions, right? No question's a dumb question.
Right.
Ask the question. If we don't have the answer, we'll be the first ones to admit it. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm not the most educated person on the planet, but I'm very educated in
Okay.
one specific subject: intersectionality.
If you're on fucking TikTok right this minute, right where I'm pointing is my damn username. What does that say? It says I'm a fucking truck driver. I don't have a damn college background.
I'm looking at Twitch and watching it while she was.
Yeah. I'm like, you just
That's
look
why
at
I was.
For a second. Okay, not gonna lie. For a second there, Stacy legit looked like she had changed over to Sky Daddy.
Yeah.
Oh,
hail Sky Daddy.
oh my god! I just saw that. Like, oh my god, no.
Sam, what was your
Like-
question, sweetie?
Yeah,
I
Sam.
didn't
Yeah,
really see
please
it.
re-ask.
Yeah, we lost it.
I think it was. Were you asking what do we do about it? But what do we do about what?
Well, it's not really okay. What makes you feel trans at any age? So it's not really a feel. It's an innate sense of self that we have about ourselves.
Right.
Like for myself and Allie, we both knew, or at least for myself, I'm not going to speak for Allie on this part, but we both knew that we were girls or women at a younger age. Now, for both of us, we had to hide that from the world. Like we had to turn around and bury that so far deep that when we finally did decide that, okay, we can come out and be our authentic selves, we were, at least for me, in our mid 20s. You were 30, Allie?
36.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I've been only in literally living my most authentic life for 10 years. I celebrated 10 years in June.
We're old, damn it.
Congratulations.
So thank you.
But yeah, Sam, like none of us up here are gonna sit here and tell you there's one particular path. That's why earlier when I said you had path A to Z, it reflects towards the trans community because no one has a uniform path. We may recognize it, but we're not going to truly know what it is until a little bit later on down the road.
Oh, look who just joined.
Who?
King Kenya.
Oh,
Oh boy.
oh Lord.
We could take the trash out.
Yeah, I know. Let's just see how this goes. Here's how this is going to go.
They were
If
in
you-
here already.
Okay, if you're in here
I saw
and
them
you're going to
fucking
say
earlier.
some fuck shit, you're going to get removed.
Go ahead and
But
say
if
it.
you can be
Go ahead and say it.
respectful and just listen to the fact that we're holding a podcast and talking about different topics that pertain to the society around us, and our topic tonight is propaganda, misinformation, and disinformation. We are not doing this to be in attackative mode here. We're just literally having deep critical conversations about lived experiences and how we experience it in everyday life. And I know that you are very vocal, Kenya, in a multitude of lives that I've been on. And I just want you to maintain some decorum for those who are watching and listening, if you're still there.
Please.
So for me, Sam, it was a little different, right? I knew from a very young age. I was 5 years old. I knew that the person that I saw in the mirror was not me, right? Nothing I did was girly, right? Nothing. I didn't consider myself a girl, even though I was forced to look as a girl. Nothing I did was like a girl, right? Nothing. And I'll use the stereotypical, girly things because I'm from the 80s, right? I was born 1980. Those stereotypes were very much a part of my life because I grew up in a Roman Catholic household, right? From two conservative, heterosexual parents, right? And so when I was growing up, I didn't play with Barbies. I didn't do, the cheerleading stuff. I didn't do anything girly, I didn't want to, do my makeup and my hair. When I envisioned my wedding, it wasn't in a white dress, it was in a tux, right? And as a child, right, everybody knew that I was not a girl. I mean, you ask my aunt now, my Aunt Donna, she'll tell you straight up, you've always been a boy. Always. I played football, I did the baseball stuff. You know what I mean? Like, there was nothing stereotypically girly about me. And so I knew from a very young age. As I went and got older, right, I've always had to shave my face, my body hair. Like, I'm a gorilla, right? I am your typical Middle Eastern, very hairy dude, right? And so as a kid going through puberty, you're like, whoa, yeah, I think I'm right. I'm not a girl.
Wait, time out. Are you a silverback or?
I don't know. Am I a silverback, babe? It's starting to grow silver. I mean, I have the longest white chest hair. It's like it's long, like, and I keep it because I'm just like, that's funny. And so, like I said, for me, it's a little different, right? I did not have the typical transgender experience, right? Because I'm intersex. I just didn't. So for me to say I know what she went through. Sorry, I guess she's over here on TikTok. Stacy and Allison. For me to know what they went through, I'd be lying, right? Because one, I don't know what it's like to be a girl, right? And two, I don't know what it's like to be a cis man going through those feelings of knowing that you're a girl, right? And so, yeah, it's very different for me. So I feel like I'm a little out of my depth for this one because I can't really correlate my feeling of self compared to their feeling of self or another trans man. Oh boy, what did somebody say?
Valid.
You might want to read that
Jedi.
one.
It's not quite that long. It's not that long. I can pinch it and pull it up. I mean, but I can't.
So we are coming up on an hour and 10, which is fantastic because I didn't really anticipate that this topic was going to carry in the length and longitude of content. And that's not to say that we don't have enough to speak on when we come up with topics. It's just. And thank you, Eve, by the way. Anodian, big shouts out to you for the gifts and support today, but you are the one that suggested this. That was fantastic.
Anodian, 5 more.
I kind of love that. It's almost like a behind-the-scenes producer or editor or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And the questions at this point, this is one of the things I want to say. If you have questions for the next 5, we'll probably round this into 5 more minutes before we conclude this episode. And I know, I know some of you have messaged a couple different times and said, why don't you make the episodes longer? Trust me, I feel that. I understand why you're saying that.
Right.
but I've been doing a lot of research for almost 2/3 years, multi-panel, multi-guest type podcasts. Their break point is like 48 minutes and 20 some seconds to an hour and 27 minutes in like 18 seconds. It's this really, really thin critical threshold. So you want to keep your episodes, when you have multi hosts running it, between 50 minutes and an hour and 20. That's the sweet spot for listening and people. If it's two people, it's anywhere between like 35 minutes and an hour is sufficeable. If you're less than one person, or if it's just one person, you don't want to go any higher than 30-minute episodes. You want to publish them more often, but you don't want them super long, because then it just becomes monotonous. So that's why we do it between an hour and an hour and 15 on average.
Right.
So all of you watching, I don't know how many, I can't see the count on TikTok, or not TikTok, on Twitch. I need to figure out how to do a counter on there. As soon as I figure that out, I will let you all know. But for the 27, I would say I got 27 in TikTok that I see here. I would say I've got at least 10. What do you want?
Let's see what AJ said.
7.
I demand more.
7.
7.
Well, AJ, you'll just have to
So
catch
about
our
40.
podcast on Sundays.
Yeah, 40. We have 40 viewers, roughly saying.
Right.
If you have questions, put them down in the chat, whether it's TikTok or Twitch. Yeah, we do have ours. We do shoot ours on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
Not so palatable.
It's a little more unhinged.
Yeah. We try
I'm
to
surprised we haven't gone unhinged on this one yet,
I
honestly.
know.
we try to keep a level of complexity and decorum on the Hot Take News Show, because it encompasses a lot of people. But when I came up with so the original title, while we wait and watch for anybody that was having to ask questions, I came up with the first podcast title of my show, and it was Her Unapologetically. And it was literally just going to be me, and I was going to do these 15 to 20-minute episodes and invite people like Phoebe, like Stacy, like Jedi's wife, my wife, to talk about different topics that I wanted. And then it just never took off. And I liked Her Unapologetically because it was my way of politely saying that I'm going to be slightly unfiltered, but I'm going to be respectful when I have my topics. That was the idea. And then it changed. There became this metamorphosis, we'll say, for a lack of a better word, into this show that started. And after we ran through the first 4 episodes or so, and I got the hang of it, and I got the publication up there, I really wanted to tap into my own. And I was telling Jedi, just like, hey, I think I'm going to start doing this on Sundays. I'm just going to do it on my own. You know, maybe you want to come in and sit for one of them and be a guest, yada, yada, yada. And he flipped the script on me one day, and he was like, what if we just change the whole entire perspective of it and make it a duo? And then on top of that, break no barriers, do full send. And we did that. So if you want unapologetic, no filtered, full sent, straight balls to the wall, no pun intended.
Not PC.
Not PC.
If y'all want that to be, we could do that here, for fuck's sakes. But
I mean, we could.
I mean, we're gonna go on a hinge real freaking quick, like,
Yeah.
and like, yeah. We're
Yeah.
gonna have to change a lot of things.
Yeah, and Emerson, yeah, that's exactly what happened. It Unapologetically Her turned into Hot Take News Show, which then turned into Hot Take News Show as a forecast, FOUR, and then a supplement of Not So Palatable. And I was talking about that on Cece had a live yesterday, and we were somebody came up and I said, you know what? And people asked me why I came up with Not So Palatable, and it really boils down to this: I am done being palatable to the public, being pushed into a corner to be acceptable because of your terms, your definitions, your ways and worldviews. I don't need to sit here and be silent or conform to your language just so that it's digestible. And quite frankly, nobody else should. I personally, we thought that was ironic that 2 trans individuals are literally coming across with like 0 fucks to give. If you don't like it, move the fuck on.
You definitely want to tune in this weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a really good one. We have a couple different things already in mind to talk about. If you were in a Nodians live yesterday, you know exactly what I'm gonna talk about.
There you go.
Wait, a Nodian had a live yesterday and I missed it?
Titan.
Titan, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're seeing a
I was
Nodian.
reading a Nodian's message.
Right.
I was like, wait, a Nodian had a live and I missed that?
No.
Somebody
Yeah,
come.
no.
Titans live. If you were in
Okay.
Titans live yesterday, you know exactly
Hey, Angel.
where I'm gonna go with my conversation tomorrow.
All right, so we are at 1:15, slightly there on the live, and then 1:20 on the recording, which is good because that gives me a little bit of buffer when I'm doing the editing. First and foremost, thank you to everybody in Twitch that came and watched and listened to the live tonight, and everybody on TikTok that has been able to listen to this live and show the support, give the gifts, the likes, the follows, the subscriptions, all of that stuff that we've seen. I've seen it all tonight. Words can't express how thankful we all are for the amount of love and support and that you're giving us. So thank you all for tuning in tonight on our edition of episode 7 Hot Take News podcast show. We do this every Friday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Adjust to your according time zones. I used to spit that all out, but it got too boring. If you missed tonight's live, which I know that I'm seeing people start to trickle in. This always happens right at the end of the
Yes.
episode.
Yeah.
We go from 22 to like 40.
You know,
Yeah.
If you,
Ali,
yeah.
I have a solution for this, actually.
What's that?
Whenever, you know how I typically do my hour beforehand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whenever you go live, I come in and join on you, and then we just send everybody to you, and then we can all just come up on panel.
I mean, yeah, that's an idea. But if you missed anything from the live tonight, whether it was on Twitch or TikTok that you're doing here, no, I am not a lawyer. I'm just very well versed
Objection,
in
Your
legal. All rise, all rise. I'd like to call the Honorable Clarence M. Ribbon.
Oh, my
to the stand
Lord.
here. Well, thank you very much. We're all here today to talk about what the court case sees and what the public needs to see. Anyhow, I'm sorry. We'll save that for the.
Save that for our podcast.
As I was saying, you can find us on all the top platforms. We are on Spotify, we are on Apple Podcasts, and we are on YouTube Podcasts. You can go pick up the podcast roughly in about 24 to 48 hours from tonight and listen to it at your own leisure. It's also where you'll find Not So Palatable. We're on both of those. Both of our shows that we run are on those platforms. And if you have questions or concerns and don't know where it is, every one of our TikTok link trees go to it. It's right there. Or just message us. It's not a big deal.
Or,
Yeah.
join our Discord.
Join the
so
Discord.
you know when we're all going
Yeah.
live.
Right.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
But with that, I'm Allison, technical director, primary host, if that's what you want to call it,
Super geek.
super geek audio guru. I am signing off for the night. This is me, wishing you all a great weekend. Thank you for tuning in once again. Love you all so much. Oh, shouts out to who is his name? Oh shoot.
Brain fart.
Big time.
He's the builder guy that used to be in MJ's lives
Bob.
all the time.
What?
The
What
Guido?
talk about?
not Guido, the other one.
Um,
I see Southern Hush Puppy, and that's almost the same name, but it's not the same person. It's the person that lives in Maine that
oh, shit.
you know who I'm talking about.
Yes. Fuck. I can't think of
The
their name
recovering
now.
alcoholic, sober for 15
Yes,
years, rebuilding. Yeah, I can't think of his
can't
No,
think
not Cody. Cody's
Cody?
definitely
No.
Cody's definitely a good
No.
person. I'm trying to think of this person's name.
Anyways.
Anywho,
Salty?
I'm signing out.
No.
Yeah, Salty Carpenter. Big
Yeah,
shouts out to
Salty.
Salty Carpenter.
Yeah.
That's him.
I thought Salty was from Australia.
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm
he
pretty
lives in
sure
Maine.
Salty is from Australia.
Yeah, maybe so. But I'm signing out. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in next week or tune in this Sunday if you want to see Not So Palatable. Thank you for watching. Hey. Yeah, I'm done. There you go.
Phoebe.
Like there's yelling in the background. This is me signing
I have
off.
no idea. Go ahead, Phoebe.
Everybody, hug somebody. Tell them something nice. I don't even know. There's so much chaos going on, and there's a dog right here. Go ahead, Stacey.
All right, everybody. Everybody have a great night. Love yourselves. Love each other. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Please, right now in these troubling times, look after your neighbors. Look after your friends that are close by. For everybody that asked questions down in the comments, thank you very much for that. I don't know what's going on over there at Allie's house right now. We'll figure that out later. There's just complete and total chaos. There's a Steve shot for everybody.
Right. And
I don't know
name's
where my
Jedi.
dog's at.
I hope everybody has a great night. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. And remember that you are enough. I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you for joining us.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.